Who is the most important person in your family tree? Who could that be? Is it your mother? Maybe your father, or a grandmother, or grandfather, or maybe one of your long relatives back in the mists of time that was maybe one of the founding fathers of the United States. Well, we're going to talk about that in 5 seconds. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Kleist. I'm the host for the Road to Your Family History YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me. Listen, before we get started, before I forget, and I can do that every once in a while, please go below and click on that subscribe button and the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Hey, and next to that subscribe button, there's a little bell icon. If you don't know what that is, if you click on that bell, then you'll get an email notification every time I post a new video to YouTube. So go ahead and do that so you don't miss anything. Okay, let's get down to business. If you're going to get a solid foundation in finding your family history, you really have to get very well acquainted with the most important person in your family tree. Now, who is that? Well, it's you. Yes, you. You are an important person, not just an important person. You are the most important person in your family tree. Now, why is that? Because you're the base of that family tree. You're in the roots, and the whole rest of your ancestors are going up in those branches and those twigs and those leaves until you form a beautiful tree. Yep, that's how it works. You have to start with what's known. I mean, it's one of the most basic principles in doing genealogy research, so this is going to help you a lot, so please remember this one. You have to start from the known and work back to the unknown. So you're going to start with you and work back each generation step by step until you build that big, beautiful family tree. So how are you starting this? Well, you're going to record everything you know about yourself. Yeah, everything you know about yourself. Now, it can be just from your memory, or you can consult other things that you have just around your house, whether it's family Bibles, birth certificates, death certificates, just about anything you can think of, old family photos, old family movies. So whichever way you decide to do it, that's the way you need to go. But and don't stress out too much about it, because you're not going to remember everything. And let me emphasize, this is just information about you that you know, and information you know personally or have available at your disposal right there in your house, information about you, most importantly, and anything you might know or have right there in your house about your parents, your grandparents, or anyone else in your family. You might have inherited some important old documents or old family Bibles, old pictures, anything like that, that might help you with your memory or help you to write down all this information. And I want you to do that. Write down all this information, because you're not going to remember it necessarily. And you're going to be surprised. Once you start digging down there in that memory, you're going to start remembering some other things that you forgot that you remembered. Is that a thing? Can you remember what you forgot or forgot? I don't know. But anyway, regardless, once you start doing this, your memories are going to start flowing out. And that doesn't matter whether your memory is clear and sharp, or whether it's dark and murky, or maybe somewhere in between, which is probably where most of us fall. It doesn't matter. This is an exercise you have to go to build that solid base for the rest of your family history research. And actually, it can be kind of fun. But one thing I want to advise you, you don't have to tear your house apart. If you're looking for some documents that you think you might have in the house, and you don't find them in 10 or 15 minutes, don't worry about it, because truthfully, they might not even be in your house. Your parents might have them. You might have a brother or sister or a cousin that has them. And set aside some time to do this. It doesn't have to be a long time. Don't take weeks. Don't even take days. I would just take one day, maybe even half a day. If you can set aside one day altogether, I mean, that's great, but I think that's tough for most people to do. So maybe half a day to sit down and write these things out. And, don't worry about organization, how it's organized, or if it's unorganized right now. We'll take care of that soon enough. We'll talk about it in another video. But listen, just sit down and do it. Once again, don't stress out over it. Just write down what you can remember, what you have handy right there at the house, because it's going to be vital to starting your family history research. Because remember, you're just starting to establish the very basics of the road to your family history. Just the very basics, the very basic foundation on where you're going to start to find your family history. And if you take the time to do this, you're going to be surprised how this helps out along the way. Now, you're going to have to talk with your other relatives and your parents and grandparents and all that. That's a vital thing to do, but that's not the first thing to do. If you haven't done it yet, please sit down and do that today, or maybe tomorrow or this weekend. You're getting prepared to make a connection with your ancestors. You'll get to know your parents better probably, and your grandparents better. If they're still alive, you'll get a chance to talk to them. And you'll just make a connection with your ancestors that you just never had before. You'll discover ancestors that you never even knew existed. That certainly was the case with me. And there'll be some surprises, maybe pleasant, maybe sad or disappointing, but it's going to be quite a ride. So get started, because that's going to take you on the road to your family history.